another bad go home for Monday Night Raw.
What up, Marks?
Guys, our Monday Night Raw review and reaction for tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Obviously, we said it's the go home edition, Money in the Bank this Sunday, live with fans and from Fort Worth, Texas. So this is the go home edition we got, and pretty much anything just involving Bobby Lashley and Kofi Kingston was the only good stuff on the show. So let's get right into it. With the show starting off with a match. Imagine that, a match, and not a 17-minute promo segment. You had Xavier Woods taking on Bobby Lashley. Yeah, it was a good match. It was a solid match. I mean, it's good to see Xavier Woods in a spot like this, taking on the almighty WWE champion, the main event spot. Well, to open up the show, but it's a main event program. Obviously, it has to do a lot with Kofi Kingston. It's all about Kofi Kingston and his match against Bobby Lashley at Money in the Bank. But this was a very solid match. And in the end, surprisingly, with a nice roll-up, you got Xavier Woods. So it's a believable finish.
Victory just a inside cradle. Shoulders are down. What? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
It makes sense in the concept of things because Bobby Lashley's hasn't been as strong ever since WrestleMania time. Since he started getting, the women around him, the outside, in the backstage,
distractions.
It's tons of distractions, living it up and stuff like that. So obviously we've seen that he's been booked kind of not as strong. But in terms of what happens later on in the show, it makes a ton of sense. But a good way to start off the show with Xavier Woods defeating Bobby Lashley kind of a fluky way.
Yeah, I thought it was a great match. I thought it was a great job by WWE to get Xavier Woods to look a little, just more dominant, give him more of a chance, a shot to look a little better. So yeah, they did a great job with that. A clean win for Xavier Woods. Like, who would have thunk it? So it is what it is. But I like how they're developing Bobby Lashley, where the distractions are a big thing, and then they're making that the presence known that he's not 100%. With it right now. So I do like that. It adds a little more depth to the character because he's very dry. So it does add more to it. And we see what happens at the end of the night.
Yeah, so it was a good, solid way to start off the show, but then it starts to go downhill from here. So first thing you have here, you have Jinder Mahal coming out. He's with, his two guys next to him, right? Veer and Shanky. Which the really tall one, for some reason, just he didn't size his jacket correctly because his sleeves for his jacket were up to here. So when you have
maybe that's a style now.
I guess
the kids are wearing.
I don't know, but that's far from the case. Far from what went down here. We had obviously he stole the sword. Yeah. So obviously Jinder stole the sword, the family heirloom, the sword of Drew McIntyre the week prior. He has it there on display. It's covered. He's calling Drew McIntyre out to apologize, and he'll give back the sword and everything. Drew McIntyre shows up on the Titantron, and he says that and then Hall unveils the sword. It's cracked in half. It's broken. And then you have, McIntyre said, that's just a replica. I would never keep the, I don't walk around with the real one. This is the real one, pulls it out. And then he destroys Mahal's motorcycle. And that's the feud we got. I mean, it is what it is, It is what it is. I don't know what else to say about it.
It's pretty rudimentary booking. It's just like, hey, just destroy some guy's property, and then they should have a battle of that. And he didn't really mess up the bike all that much. I thought it was kind of half-assed. If you're going to beat someone's bike up, throw some cement on it, you know what I'm saying? Destroy it. I mean, but it just was what it was. Not the greatest start to what should have been a pretty fun feud because of all the history they've had, but it's just it's been so put together. It kind of feels last minute. We're just gonna do this, so just not a great way to get going.
The thing with this feud is that it's missing Heath Slater because Heath Slater is the part of 3MB that's missing, and that's why you get a callback. So I felt like this feud, if it had Heath Slater still on the roster, still on WWE, it would have helped it out. But again, he didn't do much damage. It's easy stuff he could probably fix. It all felt very staged. Those things were not bolted on. They took the bolts off so they could just rip it off easy in the clips and stuff like that. So it was a crappy segment. And then it gets even worse because then we have Asuka, Naomi, Nikki Ash, and Alexa Bliss in a fatal 4-way for whatever reason.
Why?
Before this, you'd have Alexa Bliss have Eva Marie and Doudrop on Alexa's Playground, and that's kind of whatever's. They obviously have some issues, but they'll play into effect into this match because during the match, you have Eva Marie and Doudrop coming down the ramp, distracting Alexa Bliss in the match, and then Doudrop will take out Alexa Bliss, throwing her over the barricade, but then she would disappear. I wonder how they're gonna do the supernatural stuff when the fans are there and they can't do the stylish cutting and stuff like that. Should be pretty interesting how that works out. But in the end, Nikki Ash gets the win, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. The stuff between Eva Marie, Doudrop, and Alexa Bliss is not good. It's not good stuff. Alexa Bliss has not really have really done that well with this character going forward, the way she's been booked. And Nikki Ash is still a thing. We'll see how that works out. But we'll see. Interesting to see how this all plays out during Money in the Bank, because they still have one more spot for the women that will be unveiled on SmackDown. It seems like it's the only last chance they have to fill up that spot.
I mean, this match felt pretty dumb and useless. The whole thing, the everything, just nothing felt right, nothing felt good. Nikki Ash stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we're giving it a shot, but not great. She just disappeared. Alexa Bliss. I'm like, they're buying time until the Bray Wyatt character comes back, and like we get that story kind of finished up. So, but this buying time hasn't really been interesting. They've kind of been throwing shit at the wall and seeing whatever works, and most of it's not really hitting. Like the doll thing, and now it's just with the Samanye and like it's just, I don't know. It's just none of it makes much sense, and it hasn't really been all that interesting. It just continues to be not that interesting. So it just was what it was. It was filler.
Yeah, definitely just filler. The next two things in the show, definitely filler. You have AJ Styles taking on Ivar, the Viking Raiders. Ivar gets the win here. And then you have Eric taking on Omos, and Omos gets the win. So trading back and forth. They were supposed to be on Monday Night Raw the next week. They were supposed to have a tag team title match, but since Bianca and Bayley no longer taking place on Money in the Bank card, they're going to have the tag team title match at Money in the Bank. So we'll see how that turns out. But this really wasn't all that great. Just, I don't know. I hate the fact that they do that type of stuff, but whatever. Next thing I saw, we had the returning Sheamus. He attacks Carrillo backstage. This is the interesting part of the show. He attacks Carrillo backstage before their matchup for the U.S. Championship. And then as he's leaving the battered, beat up Carrillo, Damian Priest walks along and kind of stares him down. So then the match ends up happening, or it's going to happen, but Carrillo can't really compete. So he just gets beat down by Sheamus, and then Damian Priest makes the save. So
it's Damian Priest
making a beeline for the ring, making a beeline for Sheamus.
And Sheamus is out of here. Oh, Sheamus just competed in his.
So it looks like Damian Priest versus Sheamus is the next feud that is going for the United States Champion. It sucks for Carrillo because he's kind of getting the short end of the stick here, and then Priest is going to obviously jump in and take this spot. But it's cool. I mean, I don't understand the whole Priest Riddle stuff that was going on. I thought it was going to lead to something, but I guess not. They're going to go Riddle, Priest, Sheamus.
Yeah, the Priest Riddle thing, none of it was really it made that much sense. Why he was just showing up and talking to him, it kind of felt really out of place. But Priest, Sheamus makes perfect sense. Two big guys. You got the United States title up in the air with it, so I think it's a great next step for Priest. And I know he got hurt after WrestleMania, so he's been gone for a little bit, and he lost the momentum that he built with Bad Bunny. But getting back in with Sheamus, who's a big bad heel and makes guys look really good, I think Priest can really do a good job here, and dare I say, he might win the title.
Yeah, it did, but in effect, this does turn Carrillo into more of a jobber than he already was. But it is what it is. I
mean, that guy needs to go on NXT or 205 Live.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the next thing on the show was the third week in a row we get Ricochet versus John Morrison. Before this, you had Ricochet and Riddle talking in the backstage about what's going on, Money in the Bank, bunch of comedy stuff. You have Miz and Morrison show up. They hit him with the dripsticks. They run over Riddle's foot. It's a little comedy stuff before he gets to start. It's kind of cringy, but whatever. You have this going down. So this match was, awesome match. I mean, Ricochet. I mean, both of these guys, Ricochet and John Morrison, they could be like actual superhero characters just because how effortlessly they move in the ring and fly around and flip around, stuff like that. Awesome stuff. They went all over the place. Miz got involved a lot. Riddle comes out in the end, and in the end you have a big spot with a ladder put out there because obviously set up for the Money in the Bank. They have a ladder. It's out there, and then we get this, which is the highlight of the night right here.
What a maneuver! You don't have to do this.
So the highlight of the night right there you saw is Ricochet jumping off the top rope onto John Morrison through the ladder, breaks it in half. So it was really good stuff. And it was good. Ricochet obviously gets the win here, and it's great stuff. These two guys work really well with each other, and it's more great stuff for the two of them. But I hope this is the last match we see for a while between the three, between the two of them going into Money in the Bank, because they did do 3 weeks in a row of it.
Yeah, like again, this is 3 weeks where there's a crazy spot by Ricochet, and they figured out that he's not going to get over on the mic or his personality because he's just not that interesting. But he has these special abilities, and he's basically like a Super Saiyan. He runs around flying all over the place, and it's awesome. So I think we need to see more of that crazy stuff, and to get him over and just become more of a of a presence that he kind of lost. Well, not kind of, but he did lose when he got destroyed by Brock Lesnar, and any momentum they had was completely destroyed. So hopefully we're building him back. And him versus Morrison, I don't mind seeing them every week because they're just so damn good. They're like, I don't know, why not? I mean, what else are you gonna do?
I mean, I guess, yeah, but all right. So that happens, right? Then we we have Natalya backstage. She's announced as the next Money in the Bank participant. They're giving her a shot. Obviously, they needed somebody that performs really well, a tremendous performer. So obviously, they put her in the match. She's in there just for that reason alone, and she deserves it as well. So Natalya's taking on Rhea Ripley here. They have a solid match. Rhea Ripley gets the win, and then after the match, you have Charlotte coming out attacking her Money in the Bank opponent, Rhea Ripley, putting in the figure 4 over the ring apron, and that's pretty much it. We're gonna get the match again, so it is what it is. When it comes to Natalya, she's pretty much like the Dolph Ziggler of the women's division. She gets these like spots, and she just gets kind of thrown into the bigger matches because they need somebody, need a body that's a good performer. But it is what it is, and then more Charlotte and Rhea, so that's all we get.
Yeah, I mean, no one's really excited for Charlotte and Rhea. I mean, the whole booking has been really bad.
Yep.
It would have been so easy because you have two amazing women in there, and then just should have let them do something a little more natural, the hoo-ha and the craziness and the faking injuries and all that crap. It's just like, it hasn't worked, and hopefully they just have a good match, and we can just forget about all the booking, and that's it.
Yeah, hopefully you can. I mean, that's what we kind of hope for. But the next thing on the show was the VIP lounge. So Bobby Lashley had left after his loss against Kofi Kingston at the beginning of the show. He comes back here, VIP lounge, MVP in the ring with all the women surrounded. Here comes Bobby Lashley. He's kind of in a foul mood. He comes in, tells all the women to get out. They leave. He destroys the VIP lounge. And obviously, you see MVP's face. He's kind of like nervous and worried about what's going on by Lashley. Lashley's upset. He's heated. And you see the switch in the character. So we saw in the beginning how it's like the chink in the armor of the Almighty shown by he's not been taking things too seriously, right? Because he's been partying a lot, living it up, living that VIP lifestyle. Now he's focusing himself back in and becoming like the baddest guy on the roster. So it doesn't bode well for Kofi Kingston going into Money in the Bank, but that's the whole point. I think Kofi, we didn't see him as a viable winner, especially in this type of pay-per-view on Money in the Bank that switched the title here. 1 month before the biggest show of this year, SummerSlam, the second biggest show. So we have that. So it makes a ton of sense as you would switch him. Now, how does the match play out at Money in the Bank? Does he absolutely destroy Kofi Kingston so he's more dangerous again and feeling massively dangerous for his big opponent at SummerSlam? So I like the booking here, and I like MVP kind of staring, kind of just like letting this guy vent out. And it was solid stuff from Lashley. Not a great promo from Lashley. He's not a great promo guy. It's solid promo from him, but it helps out for the character-wise. It gives him another layer to his character. He's obviously kind of getting back into that motion of being the almighty and the most dominant WWE champion.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was like a slow progression. It felt kind of dumb with the women, but like they really put a period on it, and they stamped it that like this was the whole build, was to get him like not having a clear head, but then he just came out looking like a complete monster, destroying everything. He looked like the biggest badass in the company right now, basically just because of his facials. He did such a great job, and I'm excited. There's no reason why Kofi needs to even have maybe a couple of moves, and then Bobby Lashley just looks like a complete destroyer of worlds and eats him up completely, setting him up for hopefully against Ponytail Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. So yeah, I mean, it just makes perfect sense for him to go in there and destroy Kofi, keep the momentum from the ending of Raw, where he's just a huge monster and the most powerful force in the company. And I think that's they booked it pretty good here at the end. I got we shit on the booking when it's bad, and it's mostly bad all the time, but when they do stuff like this, that surprises you. I mean, kudos to them.
Yeah, so it was solid booking from them. So that leads us directly into this segment, and let's book Bobby Lashley after Money in the Bank going to SummerSlam.
He's gonna puke!
So the booking has been solid, like we said, for now to Money in the Bank. It all seems all signs are pointing to that Bobby Lashley's going to retain his title in most likely dominant fashion. So we'll book it that way. We're booking him to defeat Kofi Kingston in dominant fashion after what transpired in the final segment of Monday Night Raw, with him saying he's going to murder or destroy him and his career. It could be somewhat competitive, but mostly has to be Bobby Lashley destroying Kofi Kingston to the point where we see Kofi Kingston disappear for a little bit due to some injuries that sustain in the match, leading us to see the following night on Monday Night Raw, live in front of fans, him obviously touting the fact that he's the most dominant champion in WWE history, he's the almighty, and then the song plays, and here comes Lesnar, right? He comes out, and ponytail and all, because we've seen the pictures of him, his birthday today, that has ponytails, ponytail, whatever, little man bun.
Drink some meat.
Yeah, so we see him come out, and there it is. SummerSlam match is set up right there. So it's in order. The timing of it makes total sense as to why you would make him look so dominant, or start to make him look so dominant. As you saw the chinks in the armor beforehand, it wasn't being booked properly or in the same realm as where he's booked when he first won the title. Then he kind of reverts back to it in this segment, thus has to finish it off with a dominant performance at Money in the Bank, a Lesnar-esque performance, if you can say, and then either set it up for that following Monday, the day after Lesnar, or a couple weeks down the road before SummerSlam, as Lashley runs through the locker room in order to make this match to the point where you got to make it.
Yeah, I think like everything you said I love, but I believe you have to do it next Monday. I just like that crowd's going to be hyped, hot, and it's going to almost feel like when Brock came back in Miami that year for against John Cena, that crowd was ridiculous. I mean, again, that was like a European mixed crowd too, so it was like a lot nuttier. But the fact that this crowd it'll be the second time, but the first Raw, everyone's hyped about the night before, your first time in there, and then you hear that music, whether you end the show that way or you start the show that way, it's gonna be amazing. So get it hot. Get the thing going. Get us excited. That crowd is back. No one's going to miss those damn LED boards. Thunderdome, you did what you did. Goodbye. I hope we never see you again. But I believe Brock Lashley, that has to be SummerSlam. It better not be Goldberg. Like, if Goldberg shows up, I'm going to just turn it off. Like, I'm not even going to care anymore. I'm going to retire from wrestling if Goldberg shows up. It has to be Brock.
It has to be Brock. They have to do it immediately. They have to get everything hyped and ready for SummerSlam. And then we just booked Bobby Lashley going into SummerSlam.
He's gonna puke!
So that's a Raw review and reaction, guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you drop a like on this video. Hit us up in the comment section below. What do you think? You think it's going to be Lashley versus Lesnar? What do you think about Roman's path to SummerSlam as well if he retains the title at Money in the Bank? Let us know in the comment section below what you guys think. Make sure to hit the chair in the corner and sub to the channel before it hits you first. And without further ado, guys, if it doesn't work for you, bro, do not do the job. Also, stay tuned tomorrow, 5:15 p.m. Eastern time, going live with my guys Mex and Dan from WWE. Predictions for Money in the Bank. So make sure you tune into that one and catch you guys later.